Dear winner, welcome, 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 welcome. We are here again with you on the Win Win Live talk show and podcast here on this wonderful Sunday afternoon. And as you can see, I'm not alone. You are here this afternoon with us to meet the team of the Win Win Live talk show and podcast. Just before we jump into the mix of things, go ahead and share this video. And of course, if you're joining us on Twitter and on Facebook, follow. If you're with us on YouTube, hit that subscribe button. And along with hitting that subscribe button, hit the bell so that every time that we go live or we upload a video, you would be here able to be properly and promptly notified. Yes. So welcome. We are so delighted to have you, and we're going to jump right into it. So here we have the team with us this afternoon. It is myself as host, Michelle L. Forbes, and right across from us, you have our esteemed Alicia Spence, our executive personal assistant, and so much more. She's also into graphics, yeah? Yeah, but she stretches herself wide and lend herself to whatever capacity that she can work in to get God's agenda done through this network, through this talk show and podcast. And we're so grateful, Alicia, to have you on board. And
Yes,
just below us, yes,
I was saying thank you. I'm delighted to be here.
wonderful. And we're delighted to have you here. And just below us, we have our esteemed consultant in the person of my dear husband, Gareth Montgomery Forbes. Gareth, welcome.
Thank you very much, Michelle, and good afternoon to all the listeners. And thank you for tuning in.
Yes, absolutely. And might I add to that, he also stretches himself to whatever capacity that he can to help this God agenda through the Win with Life Talk Show and podcast go forth. So many a Sundays, he would be the backstage guy fixing up and getting things set and in order to ensure that we go live on time promptly and everything is set and ready to go. Thank you so much, honey. I really do appreciate that.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Awesome. So as we jump right in, I'd like for Alicia and for Gareth to just go ahead and take a quick moment and introduce yourself. Alicia, we'll start with yourself.
Greetings, everyone. My name is Alicia Spence. I am from the beautiful island of Jamaica. I am a mother, an entrepreneur, and again, I am delighted to be a part of the Women Life talk show.
Awesome. Thank you, Alicia. Yes.
Hi, good afternoon, everyone. My name is Garrett Forbes, and I'm from the tranquil island of Nevis, but presently living in Toronto, Canada. My family and I'm the husband of the host of the Women Life talk show and podcast, Michelle Forbes. And presently, I am working to become a ClickFunnels expert and working along with the team as a consultant and technical support in the background.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Gareth. I appreciate your presence and I appreciate the roles and the hats that you wear. Awesome. The tranquil island of the thinking. Oh, Nevis. Yeah, so we're here and we wanted to just take a quick walk down memory lane. Alicia, I'll start with you. Since you have been with the Win Win Life talk show and podcast, which actually goes all the way back to when our name was first,
My story talk show.
Ah, I love it. When our name was first My Story Talk Show. Alicia, as it pertains to the role that you carry, and one of the key roles that Alicia carry is the sourcing of guests, and she performs like the pre-interview, getting to know what exactly is the story that this guest had, and then passing on to me so that I can ideally fit that guest in the slot in and book them accordingly based on the story that they have to share. What has that journey been like for you, Alicia? In the background, doing all of this, nobody seen your face per se, but yes, on the back end, you be the first contact person for them. What has it been like for you?
Uh, it has been an exciting journey. At first, it was a bit scary because, as you know, I don't like the camera front too much. But as I interview each person, and just to see the joy of them sharing their stories, and it's like purpose being fulfilled
Mm,
in them, and you can see that light that comes on. It's like that light bulb that just turns on. Finally, God, I I am given the opportunity to share my story with the world at large. And it has been a very exciting, interesting path that I didn't even know that God had in store for Alicia. So it comes as a major surprise to Alicia as well. But it has been a great journey just watching um, and seeing the growth, because it's not just about interviewing these persons, but with this opportunity, you realize that it opens that doors, that thing that, maybe locked up on the inside for so long. It's
yes.
like, okay, with this opportunity, no, I'm watching them on Facebook, different social media platforms, and I'm seeing their growth immensely. I talk about Thomas. Uh, he's this gentleman that I'll never forget, because his story, it stood out in my head. Uh, he shared about what he went through, with the scars on his face, and the connection that was made with him coming onto the My Story talk show at the time. It was mind blowing, and just to watch him grow. He has now published a book, maybe even looking into publishing his second book. I know that he's a motivational speaker, and just to watch him grow, and knowing that My Story talk show, with now the Win-Win Life talk show and podcast, played, uh, it was very instrumental in that happening. And you talk about affiliations, the connection with the Inside Publishing Company with Dr. Esther J. Thomas. It happened through the connection that God so preordained
Yeah.
for us coming together. People that didn't know each other,
Yeah.
So, and we can go on and on and on, because even us being here as a team, we didn't know each other,
Yeah.
but God connected us for purpose, and this is when you know that it is God. Yeah. So
Wow. I'd like to just pick on some points that Alicia made. Connection for purpose. And even as she would sit and listen to the different guests that she would have reached out to, and they gladly accepted. That was one of the things that surprised her. How easily, how freely, how gladly they jump at the opportunity to, like, as she said, finally share my story. And even as she would have made mention of Maurice, it goes back to how God brought it together for him. It was within that same week, the day before, if my memory serves me correct, that he was
yeah.
in men's group. And
Mm-hmm.
it's like he was told it's now time to stop hiding. Take off, come from behind that shade, that glasses,
Yeah.
and share, be authentic and share exactly who you are and what you have gone through. The next
Yeah.
day, he got the contact from Alicia. And so
Yeah.
he himself even mentioned how God did the thing and how God did it fast in terms of the connections. He spoke to him the night before the men's group, and the next day he got the connection from Alicia. And then that just morphed into him now publishing his first book, Connection. Him visiting the island of St. Kitts to meet personally his publisher in the person of Dr. Esther J. Thomas. Connection. One of the purposes we see God have here for the Win-Win Life Talk Show and Podcast is as a connecting agent. Yes, we are here to impact lives, to transform lives, to change lives, but we're here too as a connecting agent according to his agenda, not anything personal, according to his agenda. Thank you so much for sharing that, Alicia. Again, thank you for the roles and the hats that you wear in being a part of the team of the Win-Win Life Talk Show and Podcast. And Alicia is that, as I echoed earlier, that first contact person for guests that she would have reached out to, where they meet her and sit down and conversate with her and share their story. Uh, Honey, for you, as we would have started and journeyed on where we are now and where we are going to, what has that, you being firsthand here on the spot, seeing that journey, what has that been like for you? What impact has that made in your life personally?
Well, I would say that it's impacted me greatly in aspects of growth, commitment, and dedication. And just seeing from where we're coming from, having lack of resources to produce, this type of show that we are doing today. Lack of, journalists in hosting, using your laptop and your camera and the internet and connecting in different places around the world is really amazing. You know, we start out slow, not knowing exactly how everything gonna turn out. But the important thing that we started, and as we started, we see it start to morph into different, develop into different structure, develop into having connection, relationship, and growth. Growth in us, I see growth in you, in how you host, and everything. I see growth in Alicia, growth in myself, growth in, and not just us only benefit, but also the guests that's on each show, to see how they have been taken from one stage of their life to another stage. It's just like what happened when we tell our story, when we share our story. So it's not just only the listeners benefit, but also the guests, and we on a whole benefit from it, and it causes us to grow. So we don't know what we have inside of us until we really share what we experience, and it's just going to from one level to another level to another level. And we don't know where God gonna take us from here as we continue to share this story to others. So if those out there listening, if God give you an idea to do something, you don't have all the information. God don't always give us all the details, the fine details. He just tell us to do something, and as you step out, then you get more clarity as you move forward, and then you're gonna see you growing, you're becoming better and better at what you're doing. So then just continue to do what we're doing, and let God get the glory, and life being transformed and impact. And as you see the new name, Win-Win Life Story Talk Show, we're here to win. And we're here to encourage others to win and to share the winning story, to encourage others that are listening.
Yeah. Yes, we are here. The Win-Win Life Talk Show and Podcast. We are here. Sounds like a talk show host and podcaster, right?
Yes.
Yes, I've been dropping hints. I say you have a lot to share, I think you should start a podcast. Yes. That we're going to take a quick break as we allow you to learn from some of the promotions that we have taking place right here. much for staying tuned with us. And just before we broke, I was sharing with you that I dropped some hints to my husband that he has a lot to share and that he could consider, should consider becoming a podcaster because he has a lot to share. Probably you are like that too. Probably you have a lot to share and you don't know exactly what to do with that, what you have to share, all that knowledge that is just floating around inside, right? You can write, you can blog, you can produce your first book, you can start a vlogging, that's video content producing just as we do here. But take that what you have, write it and share it because it's not for you only. Yes? Yes. So here being on given the opportunity to be a part of the Win-Win Life talk show and podcast, I'd like to know, Alicia, what is the number one way in which you have found that being a part of this team, being a part of this God vision, being a part of this God agenda here in this earth, what is the number one way, Alicia, and for yourself as well, Gareth, what's the number one impact that you see it has made in your life personally? Alicia, I'll let you go ahead first, please.
For me, it is the accountability. And you know when it's God, when a difficult thing plays out easy. And I've seen that being a part of the Win-Win Life talk show. It appears difficult, but because it is God, he makes it so easy. And I talk about the accountability here. It's like the ground is level.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, you have the host, the person who is in charge, who God gave this vision. But it's like the ground is so level, you don't feel any form of discomfort being here. And the way that Michelle Forbes, I'll go there, the way that you go about talking to us, communicating to us the different agendas. And, you know, sometimes you're a part of a team, but you have your own idea of a thing. But when you show up and you say, well, God has shifted this, and it is so easy to transition on that part. And for me, that stands out for me because that's when you know it's God. And not just only hearing it from you, but hearing it from God himself, that this is the way forward, Alicia. This is the way forward to the team. And we run with it. So the accountability, how effective the communication is across the board, it stands out. And another part that I must add is the fact that though we are a team, you push us to step into our own purposes, find our own identity as an individual who God has called us to be, the assignments, just to carry out that assignment. Yes, you're a part of this mission right here, this vision right here, but God did say something about you. And what I love most is that God speaks to you about us individually. And you don't hold back. You come and you like, Alicia, let's go. This is what God is saying. No procrastinating. If I have to call you to ensure that it is done, it will be done. And yeah, I am so happy and excited to be here. It's fulfilling. Yeah.
Being excited to have you here. Well, thank you very much, Alicia. Thank you so much for sharing that. It means a lot. It means a lot. I thank God that we have the opportunity to have these recordings for life. Even if our recordings on our devices may fade, up in the cloud, whoo, where he by, up in the cloud, it remains forever. Yeah, but I'm so grateful, Alicia, to have you on board. Really feel very blessed and very humbled that God would have blessed us to have you as a part of the team. Thank you. Appreciate it. And I'm so grateful that there's an impact being made in your life. So happy for that. Yeah. As he uses you to make impact in others' life, impact is being made in your life. Yeah. Thank you. Gareth Ford, please go ahead. The same question. What
Yes,
is
for me, it's for being committed to the task and to the cause. Being everyone seeing us in the front, everything looking well and smooth, but in the background is just like, we have a lot of things that you have to deal with, technical issues, things that you never expected, and guests may not turn up, or you have to shift at the last moment, or you're on the show, and internet connection dropped, going in and coming out, and just being committed to the cause, still pushing through. Sometimes you start and get a lot of feedbacks. You have to cut the call back, and sometimes the time that it's supposed to be on, sometimes we start later, but we still push it out. So that is really commendable, to be committed to the cause, regardless of what. So even though the enemy is working, God is still working. So to bring us through. So I remember we had so many technical difficulties talking with different guests at different times, spiritual attacks, you wonder what's happening, but even though he's attacking, God is still working. And I commend you and the team for really still committed to producing it, in regardless of what's happening, what's taking place.
Yes, indeed. Thank you very much for sharing that, and thank you very much for being a part of the team. Um, and just stretching yourself, being open to help in whatever capacity that you're able to help. I really do appreciate that and is very grateful for that. Thank you very much. I want to say for myself, the number one impact that I would have seen, well, let me leverage my position and I'll give two impacts. One is how God would use me to be a blessing in your lives, to be able to make, and for me, if it's just one thing, it's so huge for me that God, he would have used me to be a blessing, to make an impact in the life of my team members in one way, in one instance. I don't need 1,000,000. I don't need 1,000. I don't need 10 million. Just one way. That is huge for me. And the other instance in where the Win-Win Life Talk Show and Podcast, which we started out with the name My Story Talk Show, the number one impact that I see would have made in my life is being here, being present, having a platform on which persons could share their story. And as I say that, I get a bit emotional because I remember the very day that God asked me, the very morning, it was after 3 a.m. the morning, and he asked me to share, to start my story talk show. But it first came from my being invited to a show. And afterwards, he asked me, how was it? And I said, it was okay. And then fast forward to that morning after 3 a.m., when he asked me to start my story talk show. And he said, one of the purposes is, yes, you would have been to that talk show, but you didn't get the opportunity to share your story. And so that is one of the key roles of starting My Story Talk Show, to be present, to be a platform on which persons can share their story. And that, I would say, is the two top things for me: the impact that being here, being afforded the opportunity to partner with God and to partner with his people to make an impact and an influence in the lives of others. Those two are two top ones for me. Our next question I would like to ask Alicia: where do you see the Win-Win Life Talk Show and podcast going? And honey, right after she answers, I'd ask that you jump right in. Where do you see, whether it be by discernment or what you sensing or what you literally see, whether it be vision, dream, in whatever format, the view, the forward view of the Win-Win Live Talk Show and podcast, where do you see us going?
Speaking to different languages, tongue. I see the Win-Win Life Talk Show as a global platform. God just different locations, having persons from that speak different languages coming on to interview persons that they can flow effectively with because they understand. I see that that God is like, I'm seeing this image in my head. Yeah, like you're birthing, like the Win-Win Life Talk Show is birthing out different individuals from different parts of the earth, like this conglomerate.
Yes.
God is, from here, right here.
Wow.
It's like God is birthing us, and I'll say us, not exclude myself, us.
Absolutely.
Being birthed out,
Yes.
may not be with the logo, the Win-Win Life Talk Show, but God using your, I would say, womb as that carrier to birth us out in different sphere, different geographical locations across the globe, as a holistic approach to bring glory to his name.
Yes.
And shedding light, educating others as, yes, we are believers, yes, we are serving God, but we are not in a box.
Come on.
It's that there's no limit on God, because oftentimes, like, we take a sticker and we paste it and we say God, but we are moving with the manifestation. We're moving not just with the word, but the manifestation of the word. So I see you as that incubator that is nurturing as they germinate. You see you as that nurturer and ensuring that protector, God. And when I say protector, you in the physical realm, because God does nothing without man in the earth. So it's God at work in you, birthing us out different sphere. We are afraid. Alicia, was afraid, because one thing you will learn about Michelle is that we speak in past tense, especially when it comes to the negative aspect of life. So Alicia was afraid of speaking, coming forth speaking on camera. But because of that seed that God would have entrusted in Michelle Forbes' hands, I'm able to come forth.
Yes.
This is what I see for the Win-Win Life Talk Show. Us coming forth as I say, conglomerate globally. We're taking over.
Absolutely. Love it. Love it. Love it. Thank you so much, Alicia, for sharing. Ooh, she too sounds like a podcaster, isn't it? Have a lot inside, isn't it? Yep. Come on now. Yes, honey, please go ahead.
Yeah, so let's see that the Lord will be enlarging our territories. More expansion as we could see over the year and a few months that we are here on, the stage, that we see that the followers have increased, the subscribers have increased. And also, we also see that we have, guests lined up, in advance. So before we had to be like wondering who we're gonna have next, to what we're gonna do next. So now we are more, organized and have, guests way in advance. So we see that enlargement is already taking place. And when you come to God, God just make it better and better. So once we stay faithful and committed to it, then we're gonna see that expansion that's gonna take place. Not just in us, not just in our personal life, not just with the Win-Win Life talk show and podcast, but also in the guest lives. And those who are listening, you too could be a part of it. Just continue to subscribe and follow us and hear the wonderful thing that God is doing in and to people, real life story, layered life, real people, real story that God is really using and manifesting his glory in this earth through his people.
Thank you so much, honey. Ooh, you can hear the richness in both of them. As they speak, it's like I'm just drinking and eating. Yeah, yes. Not to mention our fourth team leader in the person of Sherian Gums. You will hear some more about her before this show ends. But definitely, 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 I glean from them. They think they glean from me, I glean from them just the same. I will share with you my sight, my vision of what I see and where I see the Win-Win Live talk show and podcast going when we come back from these promotions. Thank you for remaining with us. We're right back here at you, still present, still actively pursuing our role here in this earth, here on this platform. And so, where do I see? I would have posed the question to Alicia and to Gareth just before we went for that short break. Now, I'd like to share with you where I see the Win-Win Life talk show and podcast going. I see, Alicia touched on it earlier, globally. The global extent to which I see the Win-Win Life talk show and podcast spreading is to the point where we become a household name, where our name rings out. The Win-Win Life talk show is on, the Win-Win Life podcast on, the Win-Win Life is on, just spreads out. It becomes a household name, a household brand, from which persons can glean from the rich, impactful, influential, transforming, win-win content that we'll be sharing with them, all to the glory and the honor of our God. That's where we're headed. And we are so happy to have you on board. And as we are journeying there, we ask you as a team to grab somebody, with both arms, and say, come along, let's join this journey as the Win-Win Life Talk Show ascends and go into every sphere of life, every part of this globe, every home where we become a household brand and name. And we are blessed and very humbled to be a part of that. As we're looking to wrap things up here for today, as today is a short show, we just wanted to introduce ourselves, just for you to get to know a bit more about us. Alicia, I'd like for you to share, what are 3 things about you that, one, it just absolutely irks you and gets you really upset. 2, that you absolutely love, like, God, if I could get to do this, and if I could do this all the days of my life for the rest of my life, I'd be so happy. And 2, one person that you would love to meet in this life before you pass from the earth or before Jesus returns. So one thing that you, like, don't go there with me, yeah? I just don't like that. 2, you absolutely love. 3, one person that you love to meet before you pass from this earth.
I know hate is a strong word, but the negative talking to me and being just no form of positivity, just negative on the negative side, not being thankful at all, even when God is showing up in the situation, no matter how small it is. But you just consistently saying, like, I expected this, I expected more, and this, it annoys the life out of me because I'm seeing the wins, even if it's a small wins. But
Yes.
there you go, complaining. I hate it. I absolutely hate that. One thing I love about me, just laughing to myself. just laughing, chuckling with myself, and just like, Holy Spirit, yeah, that part for me, I want to do that for the rest of my day. Just being happy with self, present with self, being able to laugh with self, and just talking with my best friend all the time. Joshua Selman, Apostle Joshua Selman. I'd love to meet him. Yeah, I'd love to meet Apostle Joshua Selman. Yeah. So,
Love it, love it, love it. Thank you, Alicia, for sharing. I appreciate that. Yes, Garrett Forbes, honey, you may go ahead.
Okay,
Okay.
yes, I remember. I remember.
All right, let's go. Go ahead.
One thing that I don't like is that people being disrespectful, to me, and also taking advantage of others. I do not like that. I have to believe in sharing, being as respectful to everybody as possible, no matter your position, your race, or color, or creed. So that disrespect, I don't like. One thing that I love doing, I love helping other persons. I love to bring smile, even to help others along their way, whatever they are doing, to make life much easier, to let them feel appreciated, and they being appreciated and being joyful, enlighten my heart and bring joy to my life. So I would love to be doing that, every day, to help others. And it helped me also. And also one person that I would like to meet, I always said I would like to meet, is Pastor Noel Jones. Yes.
Awesome. Wonderful. Wonderful. Whoa. Okay. All right. For myself, one thing that I absolutely just, and Elisa said hate is a strong word. I'm careful when I use that word, but I think I fall quite in line with Jesus, with God, when I say that anything that's anti-God, especially when it starts with the speaking. And I take note why I said I think that I'm in line with God, because I remember the children of Israel when they're in the wilderness, when they started being anti-God in their speech, complaining and murmuring. God get hot to the point where he wanted to wipe out his own people. And I find that just irks me to the bone. It's like, please, can you just be quiet and just not talk? Yeah. I stand firmly on scripture where it says the power of life and death is within our tongues. And we really ought to be careful when we open our mouth to speak. What are we releasing? The words we're releasing and the energy which comes, that is attached to that word, and the force. Too often we find that persons speak the negative so much more forcefully and convicted, that when it comes to speak the positive, it's like we shrink back and no, that needs to be the reverse. That's one. Two, what I absolutely love, I love dancing, and I love to dance with God. Just doing a dance with the Holy Spirit, putting on the song and say, come on, Holy Spirit, shake a leg with me. Yeah, I love doing that. I love doing that. And one person that I would love to meet before I pass from this earth is Oprah Winfrey. Yeah, I'd love to meet Oprah. For a moment there, I felt like, you don't want to meet nobody spiritual? Yes, the other person spiritual. I mean, like, Alicia wants to meet Apostle Joshua Selman, and Tony wants to meet the Noel Jones, and you want to meet somebody secular? Yes, that's me. I would like to meet Oprah Winfrey before I pass from this earth. I think she's a greatly, massively impactful person. And I would definitely love to meet her. Yeah. Yeah. We are so blessed to be here with you guys. I want for Alicia and I want for my dear husband to share one parting word or two. I'll extend it if your bowels of mercy is like overflowing and you just bubbling and want to share because you're so eager. I definitely want, and honey, I'm gonna let you go first this time around. Just to share one parting word, something that you'd like to leave with our guests as we wrap it up this afternoon. Yes?
Well, I'd just like to say thank you, Michelle Forbes, for having me on the Win-Win Life talk show and podcast. And thank you, listeners, for being a part and tuning into the program. One thing I would like to share is that, that there are events and situations that are going to happen in our lives.
Yes.
It may be negative, but don't think because it happened, that's mean your life is over. And sometimes when we experience these negative experiences in our life, we tend to, in the end, we want us to close in and to be isolated. Don't let no one know. Don't share your story. Don't share your experience. But as we could witness today and the year gone by, those different persons sharing their testimonies,
Yes.
it opened them up to better, open them up to freedom, open them up to see that they can come back from these difficult circumstances that they are in. So let us not be ashamed to share our life story. It will be a blessing unto others, and also it causes us to be more freer to share what we have experienced.
Absolutely. Thank you very much for sharing that. Totally appreciate it. Alicia, let me go ahead.
I'll share my current slogan: do it afraid until fear is no more. I'll say, let's go. It's takeoff time. Let's do this. The time is now. There's no better time than now. Let's do this together. Let's win together. And yeah, watch God work.
Yes.
I
Yes, wonderful, wonderful. You wanted to share something, Anthony?
no, it's okay.
Oh, okay. Alrighty. What do you guys think about having them to host some of the shows coming up? Look at somebody's face. Look at somebody's face. Yep. But the word that I'd like to leave with you guys this afternoon is two part. First, in one question. What is it? What has God? What has God dropped in your spirit, nudged you, spoken explicitly, clearly to you that He has asked you? Note I say asked you. Doesn't force, asked you to do that you are yet to do. By us being here, we have gone one whole year of being present, of being faithful, showing up week after week, executing this God agenda. Sometimes we didn't feel like it. Sometimes we weren't up for it. And you would have heard the challenges would have been echoed. Yeah, they were present, they were real, they presented themselves, but still we showed up. And you would have heard the testimonials. You'd have heard Alicia shared on one of our guests that would have passed through here and will again come through here. Who would have produced his first book, already in motion in writing his second book. The connection took place on this podcast. What if we hadn't said yes to God? Who is waiting on you to say yes to God so that their lives can be impacted, transformed, changed, elevated, and ascend to a higher level? Can we tell you? Just simply step out. And it doesn't have to be peachy perfect. It doesn't have to all line up. Take that first step and go. And know that as He has called you to do a thing, He'll be with you all the way through, even when those trying, challenging times come. He is not a God who runs and hide. He is very present, a very present help in trouble. Any type and any time, any form, any fashion of trouble, He's very present. So step out. We're still in the start of the year, very fresh. So we challenge you this afternoon, step out and let's see what by the ending of this year, when the year comes to a closing, what you would have accomplished as a result of stepping out to doing that thing. And you know, as we'd say in St. Kitts and Nevis, you well know that thing that God has called you to. With that, we want to say thank you so much for tuning in with us today. Thank you for just staying tuned. Thank you for sharing. Thank you for helping us spread the word. Thank you for coming to meet the team this afternoon of the Win-Win Life talk show and podcast. And just as we are about to close out, we're going to share with you a promo. And we say, God bless you. Have a wonderful rest of the Sunday afternoon until we meet each other again next week, same time, same place. Au revoir.
Au revoir. Bye.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.